Hey, welcome back to Roar. We're going to cover a little bit of the sacrifice and a little bit of standards. As I stated before, if you really want to be successful in life, you're going to have to sacrifice some things. If you want to get ahead, you want to get rich, you can't be wasting money on this stuff that's not a necessity. You put back money, you save, you pay off your debt, you save up money, you acquire interest on the savings, and you get ahead. So you're sacrificing your wants for what you need, your whys, your desires. You put your family ahead. If you want to be healthy, you may have to sacrifice junk food, drinking Cokes, something. It's a small sacrifice, but it's got to be done. If you want to live longer medically, and as long as no freak accidents happen, giving up smoking. You're sacrificing a habit that you're addicted to so you can live longer. Now, it ain't a bad sacrifice, and all sacrifices aren't bad. But you have to make them sacrifices to be successful, to reach your goals. Now, to reach these goals, you got all these factors that really play in together. You want to build a strong foundation, you put all these together. With the way society is nowadays, they don't hold people to the same standard as they should. And if you want to be great, you want to be successful, you're going to have to hold yourself to a greater standard. You have to hold yourself to a standard of greatness. Because they've pampered life, they've made life easier, they've softened up on everything so that people can feel successful. But that takes away the amount of success, the pride in it. I love our military. I'm thankful for it. There was too many articles coming out how they're, no offense to females, but they may lower the requirements for some of these military branches, and I don't know if they're special forces or whatnot. But why? Why are you dropping the standard so that other people can be successful? That just changes how great that is. It's like, yeah, we still have the greatest military, but they're not sacrificing as much. They're not having to reach that same standard because they lowered it. These testing in schools and stuff, it's like summer school. Oh, you failed all semester. Hey, let us give you summer school, a super easy class that you can pass. You didn't have to sacrifice. We didn't hold you to a standard. We're just trying to pass you. Welcome to the school system. So it's not as successful. And then we put that product in the world, and you wonder why society's going to crap. Nobody works for things. And I say nobody as in a majority. You got a lot of people still going out there putting on a hard hat, and they're working hard. They're busting at 12, 14 hours a day to take care of their family. Kudos to you all. I don't have the galls to do that. So there are some that want it bad enough. You look at athletes. What kind of standard are you holding yourself to? The best athletes in the world, yeah, they can be athletes and athletic, but you have a platform to be great. So are you holding yourself to the standard of greatness that you should be politically? I don't mean voting on the side. Let's make sure we get that right. I ain't telling anybody they should get on there and they should start putting who they should be president. When I say politically, I mean it as far as like how you carry yourself in public's eye. So, are you using that platform for the good, or are you trying to bring others down? Is it divisive? I get that you're trying, and people can have their own opinions about this, like Kaepernick. He knelt during the anthem. Well, you have a lot of people that take pride in that American flag, people that have sacrificed and died for this country, people that have lost loved ones for this country, and they take that as an attack on our flag and a personal attack. And I understand why. If he was trying to talk about police brutality, fine. Find a way to use the platform that's not as divisive. Don't divide people, bring them together. And that's what it happened. You brought attention to it, but it was negative attention. If there's issues, I love our policemen. There are some that abuse their power, without a doubt. There's people that are in sports that are rich and famous. They use their power. Hollywood. There's a lot of people that use their power and their fame negatively, whatever. So they're not holding themselves to that standard of greatness because they're dividing people. They're causing issues. So if you want to be great at something, you've got to hold yourself to a standard. Personality, socially, effort, All that stuff's got to be great. You go to, I say, we speak about athletes again. You want to be the best quarterback, the best wide receiver. Well, what's your standard? Are you doing it right in the classroom? Because, you can do it on the field, and yeah, there's some that will get drafted for that. They could be the dumbest kid in the class. It's because all they've known is football. They've lived in broken homes, which is unfortunate for them. It's no shame they had a bad education system. Some of these schools that are in areas that are bad, it's hard to find teachers, and it's kind of terrifying for teachers to have to go to these because it is kind of dangerous. You wake up, you go to a school trying to help people. A lot of these kids are absent. They're missing 30 days, 40 days of school a year, and you don't even know what's happening at home. Is their family out selling drugs? Are they part of a gang? So you got to kind of understand where the kid grew up from. But if you are that athlete, hold yourself to a standard of greatness in everything you do, and you will become one of the best at what you do within your range. Don't get me wrong, if you're a 5'10" slow guy, you're not going to be the best wide receiver in the NFL. I don't care how hard you work. Genetics won't allow it. Genetics play a factor. You can only do so much with what God has given you. And your purpose may be different than to do it on the field. But then that's where you got to find your what, why, and how. And then find you a purpose. That'd be another topic. What is your purpose? Finding a successful purpose. But everything you do, you got to hold yourself to a standard of greatness so you can achieve and you can influence others to be great. So you take that athlete that's, kids are watching. They're growing up watching. Man, he's super good. But then he gets on there and speaks, and he talks about there's things greater than the game of football. I love football without a doubt. Respecting your elders, working hard, focusing in class. They have a platform. And they should hold themselves to a standard, not only on the field, in the weight room, but off and in public's eye. And then they're holding themselves to that standard of greatness in everything they do. So the standard for being that great athlete, you wake up, you go to the weight room early, you push harder than everybody else, you leave it all in the weight room, you lead by example, and you set the standard, and that standard gets set high, and then others follow, and when they follow, you get better, and everybody around you gets better. They do it on the field. Nothing comes off that field because you left it all out there. You set the standard, and then people follow. And as that standard continues to grow and get higher, society gets better because people are now chasing that standard instead of a standard that's been lowered. You've raised that standard, and people will follow. People notice when you work hard. They may not tell you all the time, but they realize, man, so-and-so, they were super respectful today. They worked extremely hard. They didn't ask for anything, and they were polite and respectful even when times got bad. They helped themselves well. Man, that's the standard of our company. Hey, did you see so-and-so in the weight room today? They went after an extra rep every single set. Man, that's the standard of our program. If we're going to be good, we got to set that standard right there. And as you set that standard of greatness, people follow. You raise others up, and then eventually people are chasing you like, man, I got to do even harder. And although you've worked extremely hard, you thought you reached your limits, but now people are chasing you. Now you get that extra adrenaline rush. Man, I got to do even better because I want to be better than everybody. And then that standard slowly gets raised even more. And then before you know it, everybody has a super high standard. And because of you had a trickle-down pyramid effect where you've affected others who have affected others. And without even realizing it, that is spread worse than the coronavirus. But that effect of setting the standard of greatness super high is spread to others. And because of you have changed many lives. So if you want to be successful, you got to sacrifice things. But if you're going to sacrifice and be successful, hold yourself to a standard of greatness that allows you not to be just successful, but to change lives. You have an opportunity in everything you do. Don't waste it. It may not be famous. You may not be famous for what you do, but every little thing matters. You may see one brick just sitting out and about. You're like, man, that's just a brick. But you put all them bricks together and you have a house. And you have a house on solid foundation that protects others, that changes lives. So although what you do may be something tiny, it might just be, hey, how are you doing today? Being respectful to somebody that's had a rough day. And that could change somebody's life. Like, man, maybe society's not as bad as I thought. Somebody was nice to me today. So when they go home, instead of going home in depression and anger, they may have a little dose of reality like, hey, it's not as bad as I thought. And they may carry that over to somebody else. Negativity is contagious, but so is positive energy. And if you hold yourself to a standard of greatness, your positive energy will change lives. Have a good day.